Today, Precarious plays
Final Fantasy Tactics Advance.
Are you ready to beat the game? Like, for real?
Yes, and I also enjoy umbrellas.
Yes, and I, too, enjoy umbrellas because they imply a rainy day. Yes, and is hard.
Well, you don't have to say yes and every time.
Yes, and you do. Every time. Yeah?
No,
Good?
because you just contradicted. No. I think we're in a downturn over here. Let's try again.
Okay.
You started. I will
Hold on.
be respectful of your creations.
Why are they both called deaths? Little golems made magic. Like the crystal. Okay. You are some beefy individuals, and they're probably all resistant or immune to instant death. I think that, accounting for the ears in that sort of wrapped turban is a weird decision. It's weird. And now you say...
I say that is something that already exists and is observable.
What do you mean?
You have to invent stuff.
Yeah, you were supposed to yes and. But you didn't. So now I don't know where to go from here. Look, what I'm saying is, I've been playing... This is a weird tie-in. Hold on. And let me explain. I've been playing a lot of Starbound recently.
Yeah.
Because it broke my heart. It was not the game that I wanted it to be. It never... There were a couple of times where it like took a downward turn. Towards the end of its development, where I think it actually got worse, right?
Right.
Instead of better. Just in small but significant ways that irked me, you know? Do me a favor, and I'm going to ask you to take a few notes over here.
Okay.
Because I might lose this battle because I'm so underleveled. But not if I can have the opportunity to like re-equip myself. So go ahead and just write down really gently, really lightly, because we might want to erase it later to save space. Fire damage. It's going to be like a collection of scouting information, basically.
Okay. Scout report started.
Yeah.
Fire dams. Okay.
So, Starbound never lived up to my expectations. In short, because I don't want to spend the whole time talking about that game, there's a very similar game called Terraria,
Yes.
which is very much like a fantasy experience. Like it has like a melding of, it's sort of like an anything goes. Like, you've got your spells, but you also have your ray guns.
So like Tales of Vesperia, the Tales of series
Yeah, or like
in general.
or like Final Fantasy, where it's like Cloud gets to fight a gun-toting soldier with lightning bolts that he casts from his hands occasionally, you know?
Yeah, and those motorbikes, they turn into ladies.
Yes, that's a great
The
example.
thing that happened.
Yeah. And just the fact that like Lightning and Squall, they both have swords that also need to have some functionality, like they have gun incorporated in them. That's a different can of worms.
So fantasy.
Because I'm pretty sure that real life, like gun blades, they incorporated a revolver or like a firearm into a gun, or into along a sword.
Yeah.
And it really was just sort of like a reversal of like the bayonet.
Yeah.
Where it was like, you get a big blade next to a small gun instead of a tiny blade on a big gun. you know?
Right.
So it doesn't actually, whenever you put it in that context, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. That makes some sense.
So Terraria is more fantasy oriented with some weird Gunblade stuff happening.
Right, yeah. But the weird thing is, it is inescapable, like, comparing the two and realizing that you wind up, like, more technologically advanced, and you feel, like, stronger and more capable by the end of Terraria than you ever do in Starbound, even though in Starbound, you're, like, the express purpose of the game is that you, like, matter manipulation is at the foundation of Terraria, you know? Or, I'm sorry, Starbound.
Starbound,
Yeah, you have an object called the matter manipulator that allows you to deconstruct things at, like, a molecular level and store them and use them later. Like, that is how you move blocks around. Ooh, that's not good. Did you see those numbers? Those were tiny numbers. Oh boy. You know, I need to double check. Because of the intensity of this particular battle, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that one.
Yeah.
Dang, do I have like a damage to Viera card that I could use right now? Because that would
if
be.
only.
No, I don't.
Okay, I thought you were
Dang.
really, really joking, but you actually checked for one?
No, it's a law you can add.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I feel like you should always have one of those.
Well, I think you have to get them from an arena style, like exhibition battle quest.
Okay.
Like a tournament quest that I don't think I did. Maybe they're not available to me yet? I don't know. There are some things that I missed out on. We'll talk about that later. The point is that in Terraria, eventually you can construct, like, by combining a ton of different objects, informative tools, like not a stopwatch, maybe a stopwatch, like a GPS locator.
Yeah.
And I think it starts closer to like a hand pocket watch. That's what those are called.
Yeah.
You start off with all of these little devices that eventually, basically, you kind of meld them into like a modern cell phone, you know,
Cool.
where it just has all the different little apps. There's nothing like that. There's nothing that approaches that in Starbound, which is ridiculous because you're a spaceman.
Yeah.
You're a space traveler that has access to faster than light travel.
And
and you-
teleporters and...
Yeah, and you should have access to all of this stuff that you don't. But I found a mod called Frackin' Universe, and it doesn't feel right to call it a mod. It doesn't feel right to call it like a total conversion. It really just does feel like an unofficial expansion pack because it expands on just about every aspect of play. I think the only thing that it doesn't seem to cover is colony building. And even then, that's arguable just because it creates a situation where you can like you can make some material so much more easily that it's a lot more convenient to make like these large-scale colonies of whatever material interests you, right? Like I remember it was a long grind for bricks because I really wanted to have probably this check. Yeah, didn't think so. I wanted to have a colony that was made out of brick. And it took me a long time to get enough material to do that. It was significantly easier to do something similar with Frackin' Universe. Anyway, the whole point of all of that, sorry for the tangent, is that one of my other favorite mods is a race mod that adds the Viera.
Sweet.
Yeah, to Starbound. So not only do I get to be Viera in space, I also actually like it. It is completely the game that I wanted to play. Finally, after the work of a ton of people over a lot of development time that they probably were not properly reimbursed for. It's a real shame it fell on a bunch of modders to do that, to make that dream come true.